We're all looking for happiness, right? We search for it everywhere, in our jobs, in our relationships, in hitting that next big goal. But what if the secret isn't about finding something new at all, but about understanding something, well, something really old? Today, we're going to unpack a simple story that holds a really profound answer to this universal quest.
It's the big question, isn't it? We're always chasing happiness, but it feels like it's always just out of reach. We think, okay, the next promotion, or the next vacation, or the next something will finally be the thing that makes us happy. But then, that feeling, it just fades.
Well, what if we've been looking in all the wrong places? The answer might not be in some complex, heavy philosophy book, but in a simple story about an old woman who totally unlocked the secret to being happy in every single moment. Okay, let's dive in. Our story starts in this quiet, peaceful village where a woman named Li Mai lived. Now, people said she held the key to a joyful life, though honestly, she probably wouldn't have called it a secret at all. Li Mei's life was, on the surface, incredibly simple. She lived by herself in a tiny cottage and didn't have many possessions. But here's the fascinating part. Even though she had very little, she was never lonely. In fact, she was known throughout the entire village for this unwavering sense of peace and joy she always had. And every single morning she had this little ritual. She'd open her window and just whisper these words. What's so powerful about that is her gratitude wasn't for some perfect, amazing life. It was simply for the gift of being alive to see another day unfold. And that kind of deep serenity, it gets noticed. And pretty soon, her quiet wisdom attracted someone who was really struggling, a young man who, from the outside, seemed to have everything, but felt like he had nothing at all. This young man, Wei, he could be any of us, right? On paper, he was a huge success. Good job, nice house, all the things that are supposed to make you happy. But on the inside, there was just this deep, nagging emptiness. So he finally went to Li Mei and just asked her point blank, "How do you do it? What's your secret?" And this was her answer. The absolute key here is that pivot from searching for something to building something. She's telling him, look, happiness isn't some treasure hunt you go on, it's more like an internal construction project. And then she decided to show him exactly how she did it. This is where the story gets really practical and cool. She reveals her whole system, which, by the way, isn't a complicated set of rules. No, it's this beautifully simple metaphor represented by 3 little baskets. She leads Wei to a corner of her little home, and there they are. 3 small, simple bamboo baskets sitting on a table. Each one has a handwritten label. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's basically a physical filing system for her thoughts and feelings. And she breaks it down for him step by step. The first basket, yesterday, she says that's for everything she can't change. All the mistakes, the sorrows, the regrets. She puts them in there, and then she closes the lid. It's done. The second basket, tomorrow, that's for all her fears, her doubts, all the what-ifs. She puts them in there because, hey, it hasn't happened yet. But the third basket, today, that's the only one she keeps wide open. That one is for the beauty of the present moment, the smell of her tea, the sound of a bird outside. You get the idea. And here it is, the heart of her wisdom. She tells Wei she only lives out of the today basket. And why? Because that is the only place where happiness actually exists. It's not in the closed book of the past, and it's not in the unwritten pages of the future. It's right here, right now. And it's like a light bulb just goes off for Wei. He realizes his mind has been completely burdened. His hands were metaphorically full, carrying around past regrets and future anxieties, making his heart feel so heavy. Li Mei, on the other hand, had her hands wide open, ready to receive the gifts of today, which is why her heart was so light. He was always chasing happiness somewhere else. She was finding it exactly where she was. Okay, so it's one thing to be peaceful and present on a nice sunny day. That's easy, right? But what happens when a real storm hits? Can this simple philosophy actually hold up when things get really tough? And wouldn't you know it, a storm did hit, and it was a bad one, devastating. It ruined crops, flooded homes, people were panicking, they were angry, they were scared. But when Wei rushed over to check on Li Mei, he didn't find her despairing. He found her calmly sweeping water out of her little home. Wei couldn't believe it. He asked her if she was upset, and her response is just incredible. She told him the storm had already happened, so guess where it belonged? In her yesterday basket. Her focus immediately shifted to her today basket, which she was now filling with gratitude for the simple, powerful fact that she was still alive. still breathing.
That moment, seeing her in action, had a huge impact on Wei. As the years went by, he didn't just understand her wisdom with his head, he actually started to live it, and its effects began to ripple outwards.
He made this fundamental shift in his life. He stopped that frantic chase and just started living in the present. He started noticing the warmth of the sun, the joy in sharing a meal with a friend, and people noticed the change in him too. He became calmer, kinder. That peace he so admired in Li Mei had finally found a home in his own heart. Years later, when Li Mei was very old and at the end of her life, she shared this one last piece of wisdom with Wei. She told him that happiness doesn't mean having a perfect life where nothing ever goes wrong. It means you have the ability to find the beauty and the gratitude even when things aren't perfect. It's a skill, not a circumstance. After she passed away peacefully, the villagers went into her small cottage to remember her. And inside her today basket, the one she always kept open, they found one last, single, handwritten note.
And this brings the story right back to us. I mean, it's a beautiful story, but its real power is in how we can take this simple idea, this system, and apply it to our own, often chaotic, modern lives.
So, what are the big takeaways here? Well, first, happiness is an act of creation, not a chase. Second, you have to consciously let go of the past, put it in the basket, and close the lid. Third, you gotta stop carrying the heavy weight of a future that hasn't even happened yet. And finally, and this is the big one, you have to live fully in the present moment, because that is the only place where life is actually happening.
And this was the message on that little note inside her basket. It's so simple, but it contains everything. This single moment right now isn't just part of your life. This moment is your life.
So as we wrap this up, I'll just leave you with one question to think about. Take a look at your own thoughts, your focus, where your energy is going.